Stop treating manifestation like goal setting. It's blocking you. They are completely different systems. What if the reason your manifestation isn't working isn't just because you lack belief or because you're not aligned, but because your belief system is still rooted in limitation and your alignment is being directed by logic instead of expansion? Because what you're actually doing is trying to force something infinite into a limited way of thinking. It's like trying to understand the entire universe through a single lens. You're trying to access infinite possibility through a limited perception of reality. Here's the truth. Manifestation is belief. It is alignment. But if your belief is being shaped by what you're already thinking is possible, then you're not manifesting, you're just setting a goal. And those are not the same thing. Hi, I'm Melinda Mulcahy, and I help people who feel stuck, confused, doubtful, or frustrated with manifestation finally understand what's actually happening in the process. For over a decade, I have documented over 1,000 manifestation signs, patterns, and synchronicities to understand what's actually happening between intention and physical reality. Through that research, I discovered manifestation unfolds through an 8-stage process I call mapping manifestation, so that you can stop guessing, realign with confidence, build belief, and create real results. Goal setting works within what you believe is realistic. Manifestation expands what you believe is possible. One is based on probability. The other opens up to possibility, potentiality. One is limited on what you think you know. The other opens you up to everything outside of what you already know. So what happens if you try to manifest from a place of probability? You will likely collapse it before it even begins. Let me explain this properly, because this is where everything shifts. Most people have been conditioned to believe that success comes from planning, effort, execution. This is traditional goal setting. You take a target, you then break it down, take action towards it, give it a realistic time for completion, measure progress, and eventually, if you carry on, you will get the right result. And that's goal setting. It's logical, structured, measurable. It's based on your normal understanding of cause and effect. And it's proven. And sure, it works, but it works within a very specific boundary. The boundary of what your mind already accepts as achievable, because every goal you set is filtered through what you believe is realistic. And that belief is not neutral. It's built from your past experiences, and your past experiences creates the conditions through which you think, feel, and act through your perceived capability. Your memory of what has and hasn't worked for you, your internal sense of risk with some focus on reward. So even when you think you're setting a big goal, you're still operating within a framework of limitation, because your mind is constantly asking, is this possible for me? Is this realistic? Can I actually achieve this? And if the answer feels too far outside your current identity, you automatically scale it back. That's probability thinking, and it's subtle, but it keeps you inside a closed loop. It keeps you safe, but here's the problem. Goals are built on what you already believe you can do. Manifestation, on the other hand, begins where that belief stops. Goals ask, what's realistic? Manifestation asks, what do I truly desire, regardless of who, where, what, why? One is constrained by your current thinking, the other expands outside it. And this is the exact point where most people unknowingly limit themselves, because they take a desire, something expansive, something beyond their current reality, and they immediately try to make it logical. So they ask themselves, how would this happen? How long is it likely to take me? And what steps do I need to take to make this a reality? And in doing that, they shrink the desire back into something their current mind can understand. They move from possibility back into probability. And the moment that happens, they disconnect from the true magnificence of manifestation, because manifestation does not require you to know the path. It requires you to hold the end result without collapsing it into logic. That's the difference. Goal setting focuses on the path. Manifestation focuses on the end state, the end result. Goal setting needs a plan. Manifestation allows the path to reveal itself. One controls, the other co-creates. Are you beginning to see the disadvantages and the advantages between goal setting and manifestation? Now, here's where this becomes even more powerful, because manifestation is not passive. It's not about sitting back and hoping something happens. It still involves action, but the action is fundamentally different. Goal setting action is planned, it's deliberate, it's structured. You know exactly what you're doing and why, because it's based on the understanding of cause and effect. If I put in for a job interview, then I increase my potential of getting an interview, right? Whereas manifestation action is not reactive and it's not random, it's preemptive, it's inspired. It often doesn't make logical sense at the time. It comes from a place of alignment rather than control. You move as the version of you who already has it, rather than moving towards it. Does that make sense? Because this differential changes everything. And unfortunately, it's also why most struggle with it, because it doesn't follow a predictable path as you understand it, or at least a predictable path that is built on our limited perception of certainty. It requires trust in something that you can't fully see yet. And this is where belief becomes critical. Not belief in the sense of trying to convince yourself, but belief as a state of being, because manifestation is not responding to what you say you want exactly. It's responding to what you expect, to what you assume you have already got, meaning who you believe yourself to be. That is the real mechanism involved, and that belief is either expanding your reality or limiting it. And so it's a different kind of certainty to what you believe you know. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you believe is possible for you. And if your belief is shaped by your past experiences, you'll recreate your past, albeit maybe slightly improved. Manifestation requires you to go beyond that. It encourages you to follow your curiosity into the unknown, into the true meaning of potentiality, where possibilities exist. This is why two people can take similar actions and get completely different results, because the action is not the full cause. The internal state behind the action is. One person acts from limitation, doubt, and control. Another acts from expansion, certainty, and alignment. Same action, different cause, different outcome. And interestingly, also a different kind of control, or at least a different understanding of control. And this is also why manifestation can feel uncomfortable, because to move into something greater, you have to move beyond what feels familiar, what feels safe. You have to outgrow your current thinking. You have to step outside of your concept of probability and into possibility. And your nervous system will not always like that, because your nervous system is designed to keep you safe and in familiarity, not expanded. So when you begin to hold a vision that sits outside of your current identity, there will always be resistance, not because it's not working, but because something has to change. Manifestation doesn't fail because it's not working. It fails because people put it back into what feels safe. They turn possibility back into probability, and in doing that, they limit themselves yet again. So let's bring this back to you. If you've been trying to manifest something, but you've been trying to figure out exactly how it will happen, needing it to make logical sense, constantly adjusting the plan, measuring progress in a linear way, then you're not fully understanding manifestation, and you're not in manifestation energy. You're mostly in goal setting. And again, goal setting is not wrong. It has its place, but it cannot take you beyond your current belief system. Manifestation can, because manifestation is not about achieving something within your current reality. It's about expanding your concept of reality itself. It's about becoming the version of you for whom what you desire is natural. And that requires a different way of thinking, a different level of thinking, a different way of perceiving your reality, a different relationship with the unknown. It requires you to hold something before you can even explain it, to trust something before you can even see it, to move towards something without needing full proof or a path right in front of you. That is where manifestation begins. And that is where most people stop, because it doesn't feel safe. But safe is what keeps you where you are. And manifestation is what moves you beyond your current reality. Now, I want you to really think about this. Where in your life have you been turning your desires into goal setting? Where have you been shrinking something expansive and wonderful into something manageable? Because that awareness alone can change everything. I'd love to hear from you. What's something you've been trying to manifest that you may have accidentally turned into a goal? Drop it in the comments below. I love reading every single one. It gives me information to do for videos. And if I give you a new perspective, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because I'm breaking this entire process down step by step so you can understand it fully. And if you're ready to go deeper, I've created a free 1-hour mapping manifestation workshop. Inside it, I walk through the difference between probability and possibility thinking, the exact stages of manifestation, the signs you'll experience along the way, and how to recognize exactly where you are in the manifestation process or journey through my mapping manifestations 8-stage system, so that you can stop limiting yourself without even realizing it. The link is below, so go ahead and secure your place now. And this is exactly what I'm going to be breaking down in these coming videos. The difference between probability and possibility thinking. Because once you understand that, you'll realize why most people unknowingly limit their own manifestations before they've even begun. Thank you for watching. To learn more about mapping manifestation, go to my YouTube channel, Mapping Manifestation with Melinda.